This is the 1957 painting The Creations of the Birds by Remedios Varo. It shows a bird woman literally painting new birds into existence, but this wasn't just symbolism. She genuinely believed that creativity was a mystical force that you channeled and not something that you invented. And we can see this idea very clearly in her mystical, surreal art. I'll show you more and tell you all about her today. Remedios Varo was born December 16th, 1908 in Spain. Her mother was intensely Catholic and put her in a strict convent school at 8 years old, which she hated. She rebelled constantly, read Edgar Allan Poe, studied mystical philosophy, and eventually got herself expelled. She later said that these eerie robed figures in her paintings were inspired by how creepy she found the nuns. But her father was different. He was a hydraulic engineer who taught her technical drawings and took her to museums. And that's why some of her paintings look like magical blueprints for the universe. At just 15 years old, she got into the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in San Fernando, the same school that trained Picasso. She was one of the youngest students as well as one of the only woman at a school known for its rigid and strict training. After graduating in 1930, she moved to Paris for more schooling, but quickly realized that she had zero interest in staying inside academic rules anymore. But by the 1930s, she was established in the Paris art world and friends with artists like Salvador Dali, Max Ernst, and René Magritte. But then the Spanish Civil War hit in 1939, and because she had political ties to the Republicans, she was banned from ever returning to Spain. She was isolated from her family and would never see them again, which was a major source of pain and regret throughout her life. But then the Nazis invaded France and she had to run again. And she wasn't allowed in the United States, so one of her only safe options was Mexico. She somehow made her way to Casablanca, boarded a refugee ship, and made it to Mexico, the country that would change her life. Mexico gave Spanish refugees asylum and automatic citizenship, and she finally had stability for the first time in years. It's also where she met her artistic soulmate, Leonora Carrington. People literally called them the occult sisters. They would make potions and do magical experiments and genuinely believed that you could access different dimensions through ritual. Women weren't allowed to be professional scientists at the time, which is why she spent so much time studying science and cosmic power. That's why so many of her paintings show women building machines, charting star maps, or transforming matter. She loved to paint these alternate realities where women held all the power she wasn't allowed to have. She spent her whole life fleeing wars and starting over, and sadly, her career didn't truly explode until she was 47. But her first solo show in 1956 made her an overnight sensation in Mexico. Within a few years, she was considered a national treasure, finally receiving the recognition she deserved. But her story ends suddenly. In 1963, at just 54 years old, she died of a heart attack at the height of her career. Today, she's one of the most important surrealist artists ever, with a mythic aura that can't be matched.